So what happened to Bishop Mamari has sparked controversial conversations across online all over, okay? Muslims are expressing that they are not very impressed with what has happened, with how Christians are responding to what happened to Bishop Mamari, because they're going out there to speak about how bad that was and everything like that, and Muslims are expecting them to be docile in their response, questioning Christians as to what happened to your commandment of love your neighbor thing, as they're calling it, as you love yourself. Muslims are saying they're using this incident to go against them, right? Like Christians to go against Muslims just because of what happened. And they're saying if you say you're a Christian but you are not pro-Islam, then you're a fake Christian, because we are interrelated in religion and should be interrelated in affection. In the same video, I've put a video of a Christian responding to this video of this Muslim man, saying that what would you do if we did the same thing to one of your rabbis? We just go, any of our people just goes out there and just does the exact same thing. It will be raining down. Anyone who understands how radical Muslims respond to such things, you already know, because them, even unaliving is just part of what they do, okay? For certain crimes, they do not even care. Yet they are demanding respect from Christians and just keep quiet or just look over it, love me, whatever thing that I do to you kind of attitude from Christians, which in my sense, it's really unfair to expect such things from people. Others are questioning why everybody talking about what happened to Bishop Mamari when it's in the same Sydney that people have been attacked or been unalived just recently, about 6, about one person just walking by themselves, and it's not been as published as him. And he mentioned to say the other 6, 5 of them were not even, like, they are non-white people, so why isn't it being talked about? Anyway, let me leave the commentary for later. Let me roll these clips. I'm gonna be back.
There's a bishop called Mari Emmanuel, and he was attacked in Sydney, Australia. And what I've noticed is that some Christians, in a way, are celebrating this. Not literally, but in a way where they are using it as a way to attack the Muslims. And any Christian who is disrespectful towards Islam and is a Islamophobe is not a true Christian. I, as a Muslim, I am going to say that you are a disbeliever of Christianity because you do not follow love your neighbor thing. What are you doing? Why are you using the attack of your bishop, as a way to discredit the Muslims? What are you trying to do? Do you know what it says in the Quran? It actually says those who are closest to you, so the believers, in affection are the Christians. The full verse is, you are sure to find that the most hostile to the believers are the Jews and the polytheists. You are sure to find that the closest in affection towards the believers are those who say we are Christians. For there are among them people devoted to learning, and there are among them those people who are basically not arrogant. Most people who are reverts to Islam are Christians. It comes from the Christian community, right? So you can see how this links. And at the same time, me as a Muslim now, by reading this, what I say is that the Christians are meant to be respectful towards us. But among them, there are many arrogant people who are not. Follow your religion. Why are you not following your religion? What happened to love your neighbor? I'm talking about the Islamophobes. Listen, I've seen Christians who have defended Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Many Christians say bad things about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I've seen Christians who go against the people of their own religion to defend the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They don't believe that he's a prophet, unfortunately, but they defend the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam because they have respect for the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Christians who are Islamophobes, hypocrites. Called Mari Emmanuel, and he was attacked in Sydney, Australia. And
how would you feel if someone attacked Mufti Mink? How would you feel if someone attacked Zakir Naik? You wouldn't feel good, right? Same thing. That's how we see our bishop. The same way you see your Dr. Zakir Naik and your Mufti Mink. Imagine a Christian went up to Mufti Mink and just, the Muslim world would go crazy. So what do you think Christians are doing? Common sense, bro. I want peace, but you gotta draw the line at some point. You can't let people step on you and disrespect your people. You know, we believe in Jesus. We're not gonna let nobody disrespect our bishops, pastors, deacons, nobody.
So a man walks in through Bondi shopping center and alive 6 people. 5 of those 6 people are non-white people in an area that is dominantly white and Jewish. He then sends 8 other people with injuries to hospital. And those people are not hate preachers, they're not, controversial in their speeches, or they're just people walking and doing their shopping. That's literally innocent civilian casualties. And the pro-Israel groups and the pro-white groups feel like that's not important to talk about because their lives must not matter. But a little 15-year-old kid attacks a priest who, in my opinion, is controversial, and I've spoken to people before his attack. He says things like, "I will not eat with people on a table if they do not say Jesus is God." Now that to me is like, bro, how about unity? But none of my business, I don't care. I didn't want to sit on a table with them anyways. The point is, if they cared about human lives, they would have spoken about the Bondi attack. But if they had just had hate for Islam, or Muslims, or non-white people, then they would pick on this 15-year-old boy and then stabbing on the priest. By the way, the knife had a rubber covering on it, which is why the priest is alive. Number 2, the kid is like 14, 15 years old. There is no excuse, by the way, for any violence, regardless of what they say. This is completely unacceptable. But like I said, very, very suspicious. I mean, wow. Talk about timing of attacks. We haven't had an attack in Australia in so long. We're talking about 2014. And then we get this attack, and then days after we get this other attack. It's kind of like, you needed something to talk about, and you got it. I wonder who was his handler. I wonder who was the person manipulating him to do this. And by the way, we had another stabbing, which nobody's talking about, where a guy went on the street and stabbed another person and unalived him, yet it's not on the news. And it wasn't a terrorist attack. It was just a random attack, apparently.
First of all, I feel like Muslims are feeling uncomfortable because of how the whole situation was handled is different from how we have known from history, how they handle their situations in such instances. You get my point? At least from what I have learned or what I have seen or have heard about Muslims. They are on the good side, they are givers, they take care of their own communities and even just outside people and stuff like that. They groom other people. But when it comes when you do something that is a crime, you're done. Like, you are done. That's the thing. So I feel like they're feeling a certain guilt, the fact that it was handled differently than they could have. Correct me if you think so. Than they could have. And also the fact that, again, Christians are speaking about it and everything. They're trying to make reference to how Christians are supposed to act about it. It's almost like they're not really sure how they feel. You get my point? But it's definitely just the discomfort that they are calling an attack from Christians, which for me doesn't really qualify at this point. Anyway, I already explained, gave my take that it would be more radical to such, if any, happened. The response to that would be more radical than how Christians are responding. Even Mary, in his responding speech from hospital, has spoken and advised faithfuls, as he calls them, not to return good for evil and stuff like that in that line. And well, the man concerned about why is it so widespread that this man is being talked about and everything. First of all, the situation that happened was live and he is famous already. So definitely how widespread the news is going to go about him cannot be compared to people that are just, can I say regular citizens? I don't have the word for it, but they are not like famous online and stuff like that. Of course, they do have also received their own response, and it's not the first time that I'm hearing about what's happening in Sydney. And whenever they are talking about Mamari, some are literally even mentioning the things that have been happening recently. However, others still also feel that the incident that happened to Bishop was planned. like planned, whereby he was involved. Like, that's just crazy to think like that. Like, how do you subject yourself to something like this where you can really even end up losing your life, but as a plan for what? All in vain. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you have heard about all that is going on here and what you think about why the Muslims are complaining to say Christians are using this situation against them. And just let us know what you think about the whole situation. Comment below, guys. Do subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed yet, because I do have more for you, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.